Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome back to more Let's Play Dragon Warrior. In the last episode, we made significant progress to reach the Dragonlord in his castle. We did not defeat him, however. We got our head handed to us.
We did it the wrong way. He defeated us. We have to get together on this and spin it around.
That's true.
So, sleep the dragons.
Always
sleep the dragons, right?
I've forgotten. My memory's terrible. I'll just defeat this one.
I was also going to say,
Two
speaking
hits?
of last...
Actually, maybe we don't need to sleep the dragons.
Yeah. Only 2 hits. I'm going to see about not healing here, because now that we have heal more, which seems to be more...
And your armor heals you with every step. Let's just march forward and see what happens.
Yeah, that's mainly what I'm thinking. Yes.
So we are trying to finish the game this session, if we possibly can. In order to facilitate that, so there's really 2 options we can do. We have one more spell that we haven't learned, and we can keep leveling up until we get it. And then that is a clear sign of, yes, we are definitely ready to approach the Dragonlord.
Indeed.
Or we could try and preserve as much of our HP and MP as possible and basically run the entire way to the Dragonlord.
Yes.
And maybe selectively take on battles where we feel like we don't have a good chance of running.
Mm-hmm. Because I think some of the enemies, depending on the enemy, it definitely affects that. All right, Radiant. Now let's see if I remember.
Comparing this with more modern RPGs, other games very much expect you to take on every single encounter, partially because the run function just isn't worth trying because it never works. Mm-hmm. And this game, I feel like running is a critical part of your strategy at any point in the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Oh man, so many dodgy enemies here. But yeah, like those magicians, for example, or whatever, the wizards, they seem like they're more worth running away from because they just do a lot of damage, and I would waste magic trying to stop spell them.
Okay, well, I thought you took out the first one in 2 hits.
I did. I think it might be like a damage range thing.
Yeah, so we're not quite at the point where we're 2-shotting green dragons yet.
Yeah.
So sleep still might be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Sort of on the fence there, right? Yeah, definitely do not engage.
Do not engage with the Star Wyverns. Alright, we'll see about sleep. The other thing is that I really don't have... I definitely want to try and stop spell the Dragonlord. I imagine he's probably resistant to it. Oh, well, that wasn't very useful. If they wake up in 1 turn, it's... Oh, smash.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong game. If they wake up in 1 turn, it's basically a wash as to... it's kind of a waste of MP.
True, but again, we established that 1 hit equals about 1 cast of regular heal. Mm-hmm. So if sleep is half the cost of heal, then it still works out, even if we only get 1 extra turn that we're not getting hit.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, now I want to go left here. Blue dragon. Go to sleep, go to sleep.
We're only about 1,000 away from leveling up.
That's true. Okay, these guys are very resilient to the sleep spell, it seems.
It's not doing an incredible amount of damage, though.
No, it really doesn't seem to be significantly more difficult than a green dragon, to be honest. Maybe they're not even maybe they're not actually any different. It's just their color. Okay, I do not have a lot of... I'm gonna run away from you. Oh yeah, that's right. The running away from these guys is a risky proposition. All right, well, we'll take you out then.
Risky business.
Yep. Oh, I do want to stop spell you because you try to put me to sleep.
So here we are at the conclusion to this adventure. And I'm sure we'll have a little bit of a recap at the very end, a decompression session.
Mm-hmm.
But what are our thoughts going into this final gauntlet? About the game, about the challenges, about how we're feeling still playing this after so many sessions?
Sorry, I'm trying to let me think about that.
Are we still enjoying ourselves? Are we ready for this to be over?
Yes and yes. I am.
All right, let's
I'm
stop
still.
that spell.
Yeah, stop. Oh no, not my spell. His spell. There we go. I am very much enjoying this game still, but I definitely feel like we've reached the point where we've reached kind of a natural conclusion as we come to the end of the game. I feel like this is the sort of the ending point of where I feel like the experience is an enjoyable one. Not to say that it's becoming unenjoyable, but I feel like, you know, if you told me there was another 4 or 5 hours of gameplay still to go, I would probably
Like
say,
novel
all right.
gameplay.
What's that?
Novel gameplay?
Yes. Well,
not that one. We're going left.
Oh, right.
No,
I mean
left.
No, left.
But yeah, I mean, if it were novel gameplay, I suppose, but what is novel gameplay in this game at this point? Because we have gone through, I mean, we've got one more spell to learn, but I feel like there's not a significant amount more of complexity that you can get from this combat. And, you know, maybe that's... I don't know. Okay, come on now.
I think more enemies, you know, just continuing to add variety of enemies. Maybe another one along the lines of a metal slime.
Yeah.
Something that's just sort of fundamentally different from all of the other encounters. It would be nice. A shield, like Erdrick's shield, would be cool to have, and maybe have that do more than just provide extra defense. Like maybe that recovers your MIPS as you're walking around.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really, really useful. And another, like a better metal slime, a gold slime, if you will, would be quite nice in the utility that it would have for reducing grinding. Just something that a little bit more outweighs the tedium of trying to hunt it down. Man, I wish I could have gotten that excellent move earlier in the battle. I am really... let's see, do I have a stockpile of herbs? All right, I'm going to use one of those.
Yeah, I feel like that's fine.
It could also be interesting, it'd probably be annoying more than anything, but it could also be interesting to have a monster with a very high physical defense, but that is vulnerable to the hurt spell.
That is actually a really good point. Now, I forget what I want to do against these dragons. Do I sleep them? Do I
don't
stop
think they cast spells, do they?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So we can try sleep, and then we can just wail on it.
Nope, no luck.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about something like a poison spell would be kind of...
oh, that'd be great.
In a way, I feel like it's the kind of thing that hurts you more than it hurts the enemies. Like if you have an average of, 4 attacks per battle.
Wow, 38 damage it did to me. Ouch.
Yikes, yeah.
Good grief.
That's why I enjoy games that let you apply status effects to your weapons, or that have regularly damaging spells that also cause status effects. So it's not just, like in this game it's fine, you know, you're using a turn to take a chance on sleep or stop spell. But I also enjoy the games where it's like, you do your regular attack for however much damage, and also there's a percentage chance you're going to poison the enemy. Yeah, these are definitely run-worthy if you can get away.
Oof.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
I feel like we should probably level up. So
Yeah.
it would be worth going back up a level and getting that level.
Yeah,
Did
maybe.
we want to stop spell? Did we stop spell?
Do they have spells? Oh
Heal
yeah,
more?
he's hurt more and heal more, right?
And hurt more,
Duh.
yeah.
Oh,
That wasn't
I'm,
a
and I'm-
recommendation, Knight.
Yeah, and I'm just mashing through the text boxes like an idiot.
Nice.
Haha.
Yeah, just in time.
Okay. Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only 70 EXP.
Yep. All right. I think we'll
I mean,
we'll
you
give the
you could go into that door area because you could get your herb back and you get a key back. Unless you want to try and take on the Dragonlord again and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll just go for it. I've got barely any MP, so I don't think I really have any
Yeah.
significant chance.
Well, and it's also beneficial because then you can test out a couple of strategies and see what
Mhm.
works. Because if you know you're probably not going to make it anyhow, might as well use that as a test run. I mean, I do that in Mega Man all the time when I'm encountering a new boss. I'm
Yeah.
like, I've got extra lives. I'll just throw myself at the boss and see what happens.
Yeah, we can see if stop spell actually does anything.
Yeah, probably worthwhile. Because I think
Everybody
his...
sounds tired. What's with that?
I don't know. It's just I'm just contemplative about finishing this journey, you know? All right, I stopped your spells. I'm also just kind of focusing because these battles are really difficult.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Denied.
curious to see. It's been a while since I've actually beaten this game, right? Oh, come on.
Jeez.
We're gonna level up before we get to it.
Yeah.
You're curious to see.
Yeah, the ending, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember.
I actually can't remember the ending either, so this will be exciting.
Yeah.
It's funny how games can leave an impression on you and simultaneously not leave an impression on you. We briefly touched on Gyromite last time, and that's a good example of that. That's a game that left a big impression on me. I'm very fond of it. It is a solid 3 out of 5 for me, and I could not tell you what most of the levels look like. But there's aspects of it that have really stuck with me that have been very charming, that have been different from anything else I've seen. That's a game where it's a 2D platformer. You've got a small area that you're moving left and right. You're either the white-coated Professor Vector, the red-coated Professor Hector. You're trying to defuse TNT that's throughout the level, and you're on a timer or else you'll blow up. And you're dodging monsters that are like the monsters from Bubble Bobble, and you've got radishes you can place in front of them and distract them. And you've got pipes, blue and red pipes, that you can manipulate to clear a path for yourself or squish your enemies, or if you're playing, and that's the second controller thing, your second player. I'm sorry, you seem like you're trying to say something over my blathering.
Yeah, because the game is just being incredibly evil at the moment.
Yeah,
It says
it's
no,
being rough.
you will not face the Dragonlord.
Yikes. What? Oh man.
I had full health, and then this guy was like, no, you're in the
Yikes.
square about to talk to the Dragonlord.
And the
You will
Dragon
not.
Lord is watching this. He's like, go, my champion.
Yeah.
Is it Warmech?
Ay.
Okay,
Oh.
so I guess the lesson here is don't talk about Gyromite in the presence of the Dragon Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he must not like it very much.
He doesn't like Rob.
Nope.
But anyhow, do you think it's
Oh, do we
safe?
like
Like, are the slimes just going to gang up on you if I talk about it again?
We'll
wanna
find
get
out.
Herbs.
Oh
Restock
yeah,
on
herbs. Probably a good idea.
It is interesting that, like, with the amount of dying we've been doing, we've been staying right around 3,000 gold.
Yep. It's kind of we've hit like an equilibrium point in terms of income from slaying enemies versus lost from dying.
Yeah.
You know, the thought occurs to me that it's a very curious concept, that of getting money from enemies. Like, experience, certainly. I feel like that's a very, you know, a very intuitive concept of, well, you defeat enemies, so you get better at fighting. But how, like, is there a bounty that's somehow paying me immediately? How does this work? Why do enemies whose purpose seems to merely be serving the Dragonlord, why do they have currency on them?
Yeah. I've heard that it's just a shortcut for, like, you know, more modern games will give you loot, right, that you then sell for money. And that I remember playing, what was it, Dragon Realms or something like that? It was like a text MMO. And the thing is that, like, you would literally kill a rat and then you would have to skin it, and it would tell you, like, how well you did at skinning it, and like what quality of skin you got, to then take all of the skins that you get and sell them to a guy. It's like, is this fun? Is this what fun is considered?
Well, I mean, see, I feel like in a different game that would potentially be of an interesting, you know, mechanic, if that was, you know, what you signed up for. Like,
yeah. And this was very much like it's a text RPG, you know, it's all about, like, role playing and stuff. And so it made sense in the context, but that, like, I think that why they give you money is just to skip the concept of, like, oh yeah, you kill the slime, now what do you do with the slime? Okay, you gather 1 vial of slime, and then you
choo-choo
take
jelly
it with you. Yeah, exactly. So
A thought I just had.
Mm-hmm.
We determined that repel still works through caves.
Yes.
Does repel still work in towns? Because if it does, we could cast repel standing in front of the dude who restores our HP and then leave town.
Not a bad
so then
idea.
We would get back that tiny little bit of MIP so that we're that much closer to not dying right in front of the Dragonlord.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
You could also go to the inn here at
Rimmildar?
Kentlin? Oh, Rimmildar.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yep, the inn is also a possibility. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, we'll go to the Rimmildar.
So, as a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master, I've had to come up with explanations for what was that flash animation like? Yes, I know. I have no idea why those tigers were carrying 750 gil at a posthumous. You know, whatever that was.
Yeah.
So I've needed to come up with plenty of explanations of why monsters have the loot they have, and D&D is pretty good about saying, you know, here's the type of loot that these monsters carry. Like, it's kind of halfway logical, and maybe you're, like, in their lair, so that's why the dragon has all that treasure. It's because you are looting the lair, it's not on the monster itself. But when you're out here in the overworld wandering around, it's like, where does this come from? One of the things that I frequently went to was, or at least frequently thought about, was the Monster 8 adventurers who had this treasure.
Yeah.
And when you slice the monster apart with the killing blow, all the treasure came out. Or you could also go the route of, you know, you're not just leaving a string of corpses across the landscape, that these are the kinds of monsters that evaporate when defeated. Actually, that's an interesting thought. Maybe that's why you keep reappearing in front of the king. He's not coming and dragging your corpse back there. You just poof, like you disintegrate, and then you reintegrate at your spawn point. And every one of these monsters is the only demon knight in the entire world, and you keep killing it, and it keeps rematerializing at its spawn point and coming to follow you. Maybe
it can
that's
run
what's
real
happening
fast
here.
then.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of like any of those video games in particular, or shows where you kill a monster and it kind of like disintegrates into a pile of coins.
Yeah, like Crystallis.
Yeah.
And I also do enjoy the trying to figure out the logistics of video game / RPG mechanics that like don't necessarily intend to make sense. Although now that I think about it, wasn't it true that in the very first edition of D&D, gold was experience? Like 1 gold equaled 1 experience point?
I don't remember. I
I
never
want to
actually
say
played
that they
the very
were-
first edition.
That they were the very same thing, that like there was no differentiation between the two, that the amount of gold you amassed equaled your experience. I think we're about to
So
level
like
up,
the
by
Final
the way.
Fantasy Legend.
Is that how that works?
I mean, you're buying your level up, so
Oh.
yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's
yeah.
true.
What was I gonna say? I had something that I was going to say. We were
Sorry.
about to level up. Speaking of which.
Well, this is 2 of us who've now had a conversation topic that we've forgotten.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Yeah.
James, you gotta fit one in before you gotta forget one before the end of the playthrough.
All right. Okay.
Hey,
Response.
What?
Oh, for a second I thought
the
it increased
tiniest.
my response speed by 2 twice in a row, and I was confused.
Man, they're
Ooh,
giving
lots
you
of
guys-
okay,
maximum
that's good.
hips.
We'll take that.
And a
Yep.
new
Yes.
spell. Hurt
Super.
more.
Yeah, heal
Is
more
that the
up.
final
Okay.
spell in the
Okay.
game?
That is the final spell in the game. And we should totally use it against this jerk.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
I'm not
Just to
wasting.
test it out.
I am
No,
not
I know.
wasting. All right, we got 15 more
We
hit
don't even
points
know
as
how much
well,
it
which
costs.
is nice. All right.
Although, we effectively just spent 7 magic points by not going back to the inn to heal, so...
That's true. All the more reason to be conservative. Especially when I can whack this dragon in the face with an Erdrick sword.
So... Gyromite.
Yes.
Yeah, Gyromite.
Shh, don't say it.
So it gets really repetitive, and it, you know, everything I just described is everything about the game. Like, that is just the game. There's no other special gimmicks or anything like that. It is just 50, I think, 100, maybe 70, something like that. Many, many, many levels of just different combinations of those things. And it's a puzzle game, puzzle-oriented platformer. So there is sort of that brain tease of figuring it out, and then a little bit of actually planning and executing. But what I so enjoy about it is there's so much charm. That's the A game. There's a B game where your professor is sleepwalking, and you are only controlling the pipes. So there's different aesthetics for that, and it's just sort of a different feel to the game, and it's just getting the timing right of, you know, when do I fire this pipe and which pipe do I use, and, you know, I appreciate that, and that's something that I haven't really seen in another game, where it's like, here's your main game, but here is a completely separate, similar but not quite the same spin-off game within the same game. Like, there's mini games and stuff in other ones, but that was just sort of unique, I thought. Like, 2 equally valid ways to play the same game. And I also like some of the little things, like if you're playing with a second player on the pipes, that second player can help you and try and assist you in winning. Or that player can mess with you and try and squish you with the pipes.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of fun memories playing with my sister or having a friend over and trying to navigate that and mess around with that. And I also like some of the little bits. So you have these radishes, and if you drop them in place, the little monsters come over and they nibble on the radishes, and that's just a cute little animation. You can put the radishes under the pipes and squish the radishes, and they just go... you can squish the monsters. You can also squish yourself, but you can partially squish yourself. Like, if you push the pipe almost all the way down, you flatten for a moment. And I just thought that's ridiculous. Like, it's a very funny-looking sprite, and it's just little things like that that just build charm in games. And I know, you know, every game potentially has those charm points, but it's little things like that that stuck with me. That's like, you didn't need to do this extra little detail, but there's something cute and charming and unexpected about it that
Wow.
just makes it more endearing.
Ow.
And it's
Hurt
only
more,
5.
59 damage. Oh man, that spell might be quite useful, except I didn't check to see how many MIPS it cost.
5. It only took 5. Yeah,
Wow.
You went from 89 to 84.
That's kind of incredible, actually. I think I need to go up here.
Yeah, and if you're looking at that versus how many hit points you would be, how many MIPS you'd be using healing,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really significant. Like on an enemy which I would normally have to heal more on, That's pretty impressive.
Heal moron. That's a different spell.
Yeah, heal moron. No, that's me. Yeah, that's you guys yelling at me when I'm not paying attention to my hit points. Heal moron.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to say. So we were talking about monsters respawning. In the game Ragnarok Online, there is a static number of monsters that are on a given map, which means that every time you kill a monster...
Wait. Don't.
Oop.
You know how to get there now. You don't need to waste the...
Well, the last
Spell
time I
points on
didn't
Radiant.
use this, I ended up getting all turned around because I get like... Oh,
That's
man.
because we weren't paying enough attention. Now that we've done that once, we're not going to do it again, I guarantee.
Okay. Good grief.
Ow.
These guys, like, just want to be real jerks.
You made it pretty far.
You sound like he's dead already.
There we
I'm just
go.
saying that,
Now
like-
I stopped his spells. Jeez. Pow!
Yeah.
105
Making up for
damage.
lost time.
Yeah. Finally.
Nice.
Okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
What improvement would, if you could make one improvement to this game, what would you make it that would be feasible within the confines of the NES? What would do the most good for your experience?
Oh, man. That
Teleport to a
is...
specific town.
Yeah, that would be really nice, actually. Although, I mean...
Or save in a different town, right?
Yeah, honestly, the ability to warp to a different town isn't even that big of a necessity, because I feel like you can get, like, it would be a nice quality of life thing, but would it be a game changer? I'm not sure it would, because
Would it be the one improvement that you would want to make?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
come on.
Wow.
This is what happened last time.
Yeah, seriously.
I think you
Herb.
can walk closer to him. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
Or are
give it
you
a try.
as healed as you're going to get?
I
Basically,
think I've got
we have
like
one hit
4 or
point.
5 hit points I could
Oh,
stand to gain.
Status? Oh yeah, I guess you just gained a few.
Oh, okay. So I got 15. So I
okay.
guess one cast of heal would help me out, and I'm not sure if using herbs in battle would help.
Yeah. I think we're at the
Using
point-
herbs in battle would probably just stem the bleeding.
So I'll use one here and
Yeah.
max myself out.
All right, let's see how it goes.
All right.
Best of yuck.
Best of yuck. All right. Yes. No.
Oh!
Thou art a fool.
I might
When someone
indeed
asks
be.
you if you are a god, say yes. When someone
Yes.
asks you if you want to be a god, say no.
Yep.
No.
Hurt more. Ouch.
That's not so bad. You want to just beat him up?
I would like to stop his spells if I can.
Yeah. Are we just unlucky, or is it not? going
Yeah,
well?
is he completely resistant? It's hard to say. What I should have done is probably save state.
Look, clearly stop spell is just not welcome on this floor.
Aha! I have!
Hey.
I've done it!
I'm kind of amused that this just evolved into a stop spell battle.
Alright, hurt more! Oh!
What?
He's resistant to hurt more, it seems. Alright, then fisticuffs it is.
But that spell hath been blocked? I never noticed that it said
What?
that sp- What?
Yay, we got him. We beat the game.
Whoa!
Oops,
Whoa.
maybe not.
Okay, well... Now...
And now we have different music, so we know it's a final boss
Yeah,
fight.
now I need to... Now the problem is...
Let's just fight him first.
Alright,
And see if he can cast spells, right?
Alright.
I like that he's also stepping on the log at the
Whoa!
He's stepping on the text block,
He is
right?
stepping on the text box, yeah. Ouch!
Ow. 7?
Yeah,
I am not
so
doing a
maybe
lot of
we heal
damage.
and then maybe we hurt.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
do you
I'm
think
already
it's gonna
hurting.
have any different effect than last time?
Let's see if hurt more. No, the spell will not work.
Yeah. He is breathing fire.
Fortunately, the Dragonlord only has 17 hit points, so we just got to hit him 3 times, right?
Yeah, I guess so. All right, we got one more heal more.
Well.
No, I don't think we're well.
Yeah, no.
9.
All right.
Is there another weapon we can get?
Nope.
Erdrick's sword not good enough for the hero?
Nope, I guess
Well,
not.
obviously
We need
it's not.
Yeah, evidently not.
Uh,
Oh, wow, we have
Oh,
more
35,
points to get to the
25.
next level.
Oh, ouch.
Wow,
That's
so
rough.
we were at 2200 before, so we needed 4000 for this level.
Interesting.
All right, let's talk and save. Because clearly I want to record my deeds of falling to the Dragonlord.
Yeah.
We were on the topic of what one improvement would I make to this game? Oh man. See, this is the thing, is like I could suggest things that I've seen later Dragon Quest games do. Oh, you know what I should have done?
Oh yeah, the thing that we're talking
I
about.
forgot
I don't
about
think
the
it's
thing we
because
were
I think that
suggesting.
we're just gonna go grind, right?
Yeah, well, I
So-
mean, might as well grind in the Dragonlord's castle, though.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
I feel
I
like
think another level is in order.
I do as well. I do think that being able to teleport warp to any city you've discovered would be very nice. It would definitely reduce the amount of just walking around that you're doing through enemy territory that really doesn't have any business. But at the same time, the world map is small enough that I feel like it's not a huge inconvenience. Like, I've never felt that making this trek has been a significant inconvenience or waste of time. Although, admittedly, part of that is because, and here's the question: should I use repel here, or should I
No,
just
not
make
even
the
worth
trek?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we want every single MIP we can get from
Yeah.
that battle.
We
And
need,
to that
we need every
end-
exp
Yes.
from all the
To that
from the
end,
enemies.
are we at a point where we can just use torches instead of spending magic on the radiant spell?
Ooh,
Because
that's
we know the layout.
true.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, we can find out. I've got one torch, and I still have not yet seen a torch extinguish.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
just thinking
really?
about that.
They do
Jeez.
eventually. But you have 2 wings, so
Yeah.
I feel like let's try it with the torch, see how far we make it.
Okay.
Because if we're leveling, chances of us leveling and then taking on the Dragonlord are probably slim to none.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But I do feel like this is where we need to play smarter, not harder, to some degree.
Yeah.
So go in there with as much magic as we possibly can.
Yeah. Man. You know, I'm really struggling to come up with what would I change about this game, because I think part of it is that I know that future Dragon Quest games exist, and that they have already, that the series does generally improve as it goes on. Because on the one hand, I could say I'd like more enemy variety. I think that would be nice. Do I think it would be a transformative change that would make a huge difference to boost my enjoyment? No, probably not. I feel like this is a modest experience, and that there's not anything I can really think of that would make this that much better of an experience. I mean, I'd like, you know, I just want more of this, more gradual improvements. Like, I know that Dragon Quest 3, there's more dialogue, there's a little more story, there's more gameplay. The combat is more detailed because you're fighting multiple enemies, you have multiple party members. Oh man, he resists the hurt more spell. All right, definitely more reason to get away from you. Because these guys, some of these enemies, like, I know we want every experience point, but like these and the Star Wyverns are enemies who just, they're not worth fighting. And it feels weird to me, again, on my original topic of not having any specific thing that I would immediately jump to for, oh, I wish this was different about this game. I definitely wish there was a little less grinding, but at the same time, I don't know how, you know, lucky I've been or how sort of out of sequence I've been doing things. I don't know why I continued fighting this enemy. I'm just mashing A because I'm busy talking. Okay, only 2 hits that time, I think. Still, ow. Considering that, again,
let me interrupt. Just a thought. Why don't you cast Repel and see what happens in here? See if there's any enemies that we don't see.
Sure, that's a good idea.
I've been trying to look up... Yeah, obviously it won't help on that one. I've been trying to look up how the spell actually works. Like, is it just a set list of here's the enemies that won't bother you, or is it relative to your level? And the one source I found vaguely said it's relative to your level. Everything else is just keeps weaker monsters at bay. I'm like, well, how?
Yeah.
Details, please.
Yeah, give me more information.
So I would be curious to see if the tiny expenditure would keep away any enemies at all that have reduced even enough hit points for 1 round of heal.
Yeah, because when I looked up about it, what I found was it says it is based off of the enemy's strength. And so that might imply that we won't run into wizards.
Maybe, because their strength is not particularly strong. It's their magic spells that we have to worry about.
But we've been successfully running from the wizards when we don't charge him sword to fling him.
Yes, which, again, the... Oh, search! What do you mean I found nothing? There's stairs here.
So we're gonna try a torch this time?
Yeah. I will slowly get better at playing the game. Okay, so we do not avoid wizards with the repel.
Puts the kibosh on that idea.
Oh well. Because my rating per se of this game so far still remains at, I would say, a 5 out of 10. And it feels weird to not have anything concrete to immediately, again, aside from being able to teleport. Like I've said, I'm starting to get repetitive here, but I don't know, just for what this game is, I feel satisfied, generally speaking, in the experience that I'm having.
Well, that raises a question, though. Like, is every game, any given game, capable of being improved to the point where it's a 5 out of 5? Maybe not for everyone who plays it, but for you personally. Is there enough that can be changed while still retaining the feel and identity of the game to make any game a 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10? Or are some games just naturally going to hit a cap of there is absolutely nothing you could do to make this game better without fundamentally transforming it into something different?
I want to say the answer is no. I think that some games, you know, and that's, I think we brought this up on an earlier episode, which is the idea of games can't really please everyone in every way. There has to be a little bit of, you know, I'm trying to find the right words for this, and I feel like I'm starting to get turned around here without the additional context of broader field of view here.
No, you're good. Keep going straight.
Okay. Whew. All right. All right. I don't know this room.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the room, cast the spell. But I'm curious to see how far we can get, and then start to learn this path.
Oh.
Okay, I think this is still the right path. But yeah, I feel like that not every game can be a 10 out of 10 for every person without just changing the kind of
not
game
every
that it
person,
is.
just for you personally.
Oh, for me? No, but even just for me. I don't think that I could come up with a list of changes for every game I've played to make it a 10 out of 10 for me, because then oftentimes that might just be a different game. And if I'm just going to turn it into a different game, why don't I just go play a different game at that point? What's the point of playing this experience?
Yeah.
And it's not until I have that experience to know whether or not it's to my liking, if that makes sense. So I don't know. That's a really interesting question, but I don't think you could really make this game a 10 out of 10. But I'm satisfied with my experience being a 5, maybe 6 out of 10. Because it was fun. I'm having a good time, and it means that, and there's extrinsic properties to my enjoyment of this game, and I feel like if I were playing this game by myself, my enjoyment might actually be reduced, because just what am I doing while I'm playing this game? What does this game allow me to do? And that means, hang out with you guys and talk about interesting topics. So part of my enjoyment isn't even directly from this game. It's of the overall experience, and that makes,
I think you want to stop spelling.
yeah, that makes qualifying it and quantifying it difficult.
I think for me, this is incredibly minor, but I think what I would fix is I would fix the bug with the talisman, whatever, the amulet that we picked up earlier, that was supposed to increase your strength by 2, but didn't.
Oh, the fighter's
Because
ring.
number one, bugs like that always bug me. If there's something that is unique, it's a treasure, and it just doesn't work. Like, that's one of the reasons why I played Final Fantasy Restored. I wanted to experience the spells, the weapon effects that should have been there the whole time. And realistically, they didn't make as big a difference as I was expecting, but it still felt good to know that they worked as intended. And I think if we could get 2 more strength, whatever that amount of extra damage is at that point in the game, would absolutely help speed leveling, and I think would make me feel a little stronger at this point at the end game, knowing that, hey, we truly are as maxed out as we possibly can get. Not, we're almost maxed out if it weren't for that one bug that's keeping us from reaching our maximum potential.
I do think generally having more options for equipment would have been nice.
Yes. Yeah, because there were some long stretches where we could not afford to upgrade anything.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of that is addressed in the later Dragon Warrior games.
Sure.
Alright, that's it. I want less of wizards.
I have to laugh at the, started to run away but was blocked in front. Like, you're in a big, open, empty room. Were you foolish enough to run straight into the wizard?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah, that's one thing about running away in video games that I have to suspend my disbelief pretty far to believe that I physically cannot escape from certain kinds of enemies. Like, okay, the Ocho with all of the tentacles.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe it grabs me and drags me back. Or, maybe the humongous monster with the gigantic hands that, like, reach out anywhere in the room and it swats you back onto the playing field. Okay, fine. But it's like, enemies that are as physically large as I am and not appreciably faster, just regular grunts. Like, why can't I get away from you?
I'm gonna head over to the little room over here. I guess I might as well, especially if I'm just kind of grinding. Ouch.
Would you like to hear some stats on the Dragonlord? Or would you prefer to leave it a mystery?
Let's leave it a mystery for the moment. I would be curious to know, is he 15 out of 16 resistant to stop spell?
He is 15 out of 16 resistant to everything.
Okay. I kind of had a feeling.
In both forms.
Okay, so in which case, however, he did not seem to be, I don't remember if I actually successfully stopped its spells. I've
You
lost...
stopped the Dragonlord's spells.
Yeah, well, this guy's
but not the
spells here.
Dragonlord.
I mean, this guy here.
Which is to say the first form, not the second.
Ooh, I almost just died there prematurely. I expect to die, just not quite yet. But yeah, that's kind of what I figured. And that first stage, his first phase, I feel like just dealing a bunch of damage to him is kind of paramount.
Yeah.
You'll get through him pretty quickly, but the amount of damage dealt by the second phase is ridiculous. So I really do think that it's really kind of a matter of, you definitely need to be leveled up enough just to be able to resist that damage enough so that you can deal reasonable amounts of damage in between casts of heal more. It's very clearly not the kind of damage that you're expected to be able to shrug off by any means, but at least to be able to feel slightly more able to resist it.
Maybe not a poison spell, but maybe a defense increase spell or an attack.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, that's actually a great point.
Any kind of buff, really.
Yeah.
Or, keeping in the tradition of the other spells that we have, a debuff for the enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That maybe they receive more damage or deal less damage. Again, like a hurt less spell, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like another way you could go with this, if you introduce that, is have more of the enemies be vulnerable to that. Like that whole 15 out of 16 resistance on some enemies. It's usually across the board from what I've observed. It's not like, well, this monster is vulnerable to sleep, but it's immune to stop spell, right? Mm-hmm. It's just this amount of resistant against all magic.
Yeah. And the fact
now,
that
I haven't
it's
checked
resistant...
every single enemy, but that's been what I've seen so far.
And the fact that that's the case for damaging magic is frustrating. It's very frustrating that enemies can just, like, it's not even a matter of, oh, they reduce the incoming damage. It's an all or nothing thing. It's they just don't take that damage 15 out of 16 times, and that feels a bit rude.
Another direction I could go with this is, instead of the repel spell dismissing lower level monsters, which is really more of a convenience than anything because they're not actually going to hurt you, right? Mm-hmm. They're just annoying you. They're not a threat. Yeah. Is to have the repel spell reduce the encounter rate wherever you are, so you can take more steps before you get into a fight.
Yeah, that would definitely be appreciated.
Because that would be incredibly useful here.
Yeah.
Because for just a couple of nips, we could greatly extend our magic overall.
Yeah. That might almost be kind of too broken in a sense.
Well, not if it's a modest decreased, like enough to notice, but not enough to get through the whole castle without an encounter.
Yeah. But man, you brought up the idea of like a buff or a debuff. That just brought me back to Dragon Quest VIII, because one of my favorite abilities that one of the characters gets is the very early on, if you equip your sort of second party member with axes, they get an ability early on in their sort of skill progression that reduces it's a damaging attack that also has a chance, a reasonably high chance of basically casting the enemy defense debuff on the enemy. And that's super useful. I use that constantly throughout the entire adventure. Like you get it in the first couple hours of the game, and you use it until the very end. It's that useful. Especially against bosses or particularly difficult enemies, because again, it's that trade-off of, if I'm doing enough damage to reduce this encounter by 1 or 2 turns, even if it's a 5 or 6 turn encounter, I'm still better off. So yeah, that's a great point.
I'm thinking whatever the next enemy is that we face, blast it with Herdmore.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably going to be resistant to it. Pow!
Nice.
63. Oh.
So that's what?
Come on.
3 rounds of damage that we just did?
Yeah.
Lost.
Healed, but
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the end here.
I also do like that rapid red flashing to indicate fatal damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still 2,000 experience to get to the next level. Man, oh man.
I was
That's
thinking about that.
You know, when I popped open the Googles to double check on some details a little while ago, one of the first search results was I believe a Reddit thread that was, how on earth did any of us manage to beat the original Dragon Warrior?
Oh jeez.
Yeah, right?
So you're gonna repel and then
Yeah. Repel and then refill.
I think the answer to a lot of NES games is just we didn't have anything else to do, right? Like, how did anyone beat the original Legend of Zelda, right? Like, yeah, let me just press against every single part of this river to find out that the raft is going to get me across into a secret door or whatever, right? Like, that kind of stuff. Those kinds of puzzles that, like, we did it because we didn't have anything else to do. And I guess it is funny that, like, I was trained into oh yeah, it's been a while since I fought one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it will still be a while.
Yes.
Yeah, the concept of checking everywhere, like looking for stuff. I remember playing Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 4, and like finding so many like little secret rooms just because it was ingrained into me, this concept that, like, yeah, check every wall. I don't know. Look for stuff that might be invisible. Step on every square of the map, and the number of hidden treasures that they had in that game. I do think that we're kind of coming back around to that like that's being rewarded again. Not necessarily a super recent thing. I feel like it's probably been like the last 10 years that's been making a comeback, but for a while it disappeared, the concept of like,
what is going on?
Good grief, game.
They're like, wow, he didn't cast the repel spell. Let's all bother him.
Look at
so
this
long, we need to make
idiot.
up for lost time.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a while. They're all just running up to
we
us.
did finally fight a Magidraki.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, all the monsters through here are like, you've suffered enough.
Yeah, my kingdom for a consistent encounter rate.
Maybe we do get back to the run away from these philosophy.
Maybe. Jeez.
Because we're already back to double-digit HP, and we haven't even entered the castle yet.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I mean, I guess I could just wander around. Yeah, I could go back out and wander around in a low-level enemy area.
I don't think we need this low level. I think
No.
we like
No.
first and second parts
Now,
of the castle.
Why don't we do one more delve into the castle, and if this doesn't pan out, maybe another loop around Cantlin. See if we happen across a couple of metal slimes, do a little bit better against him.
all right. Well, my question is, how are we doing on time?
I do think we should probably stand on the staircase and call it.
Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking. But first, stop spell. It did not work. Great.
That's another thing that might be nice, is if Erdrick's armor also increased your chances of resisting magic. Because I don't think it actually does that. It makes you more resistant to fire breathing.
I was reading that it lowers the damage you receive from magic. That it cuts it by a third.
Oh, from hurt more, yes. But I'm talking about resistant to sleep and stop spell.
Right. Yeah.
Should have pulled that out at the beginning, dude.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, what else is there? What else can we do to increase our chances here? Because certain monsters, I bet you could run from these. I bet you could pretty consistently run from the werewolf. But
Yeah,
thy hit points are
probably.
only decreasing a little bit, so it's like...
Right. Yeah, the werewolf is one of the easiest ones. They do so little damage.
But it still is a loss of hit points that we are not going to make up for by walking around before the next encounter. So, just thinking of ways to... Again, play smarter, not harder.
Yep. All right.
But that's a conundrum for next time, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see how we fare on our next delve into the
We
depths.
can do it. We've got this.
We've got
In the
this.
next-
Come on.
Yeah, the next last episode.
Yes, the next.